Hey everyone, just want to give you a quick walk through the file that we're going to be starting with and how it's set up and all the elements that we have. The most important elements that we have is definitely the robot. This is the one that's going to be interacting with the particles. As an extra, I'm also giving away the cave and well, this is pretty much just a grid, but you have the whole environment here plus the artifact, the development nodes for the artifact and the artifact core, a bunch of lights. The scene is all set up to render with Redshift, is pretty much ready to go. You also have here the cameras that I use for the promotional video, and probably going to be testing a few things with these, but of course you can use your own. Um, and what else? So besides having all these elements here, um, the files that are being loaded in case of the robot is an Alembic, all of these will be provided. The cave also has a few files that are being loaded in this case, a file merge. Then you have, let me kind of pin this so it doesn't move out. So you also have the artifact core, the water, and all that. Everything will be provided so that you can just press render, and it'll be ready to go, except for the textures that are being used on the rocks for the shader that's being applied on the cave. So that's a bunch of stuff that you can kind of just create your own. Have a look at these. I don't know if these textures, I don't really remember if these textures were downloaded from where, but I think they may have been downloaded from Polygon or Polyhaven or something like that. Do your own. It's not very specific. It's not even relevant for the course. These, as I said, these are just extras. We're just going to be focusing on the particles and rendering the particles with the robot and the interaction. That's as far as we'll go. But you do have the environment, so you can do whatever you play with it and add effects and all that. I think it's kind of a cool scenario to play with. Other things that I think might be relevant. So for those that are not used to working in a studio, you might be wondering why the timeline is starting at 1001. That's kind of standard on VFX production. So we're going to use the same principle as a way of kind of introducing those types of workflows. I think it's a useful thing to have and practice on your own projects, because if you are employed by a VFX studio, you'll most likely be working under the same conditions. We also have OCIO installed. Let me just click here so you can see color correction. So we're working with ACCG. This is something that works well. Redshift is completely ready for that and compatible with that. It is a process that you need to download the ASUS configuration files and install them in your computer, or copy them to some folder, and then you just need to go to your Houdini environment file and add that variable there. As you can see here, this is the variable that I'm talking about. Okay, once you have the configuration files on your computer, you just have to add this variable to the Houdini env, and you'll be all set pretty much. There's not much more you need to do. Of course, there's a bunch of considerations that you need to have regarding the textures, the color textures that you load in, that should be converted to ACCG along with the HDRIs and all that. But that's another topic. Okay, I am going to be recording on Houdini 19. We already have a Redshift version available for that, and you shouldn't have any issues there. I'm going to try to cover some of the new features or new workflows that are relevant to this particular course, and trying to explore those different options that we have. Nothing major, but a few points that are going to be where I'm going to be kind of pushing for the use of new features and pointing out the new features. Yeah, so let's get started.